All right, hello everyone. So I decided I am going to work on a new video game here, a new project. Think of it like just a summer project or a game jam. I'm going to be calling it Project Bigfoot. The main idea is it's going to be a standalone quest game for the Meta Quest, multiplayer, and the objective is to find Bigfoot. And right now I'm just calling it Project Bigfoot. And the reason I want to try this is to see how popular a multiplayer MetaQuest game is. I released the free edition of Glider Sim on the Quest, and it's getting a lot of traction. It's gets a good couple hundred downloads a day into the thousands of downloads a day on the weekends. So it makes me think there's a big market in the free to play quest, especially with multiplayer experiences. So I'm thinking if I just throw the um, the Bigfoot stuff I have in Glider Sim, which was just a little scavenger hunt for casual users to explore the map, and they could find, as you can see, they could find Bigfoot, the grizzly bear, and the wolf. Looks like it's not spawned in, but yeah, they can fly around the map, and then they can enter the general location of Bigfoot here and try to find him. And the kids seem to enjoy this feature, and of course they want to get out of their glider and be able to walk around and hunt Bigfoot or capture him. So that got me thinking, using that premise of finding Bigfoot, make it a first person experience, maybe a smaller map, really simple, and then maybe there's some kind of in-game currency like gold where you can upgrade vehicles to find Bigfoot, like a four-wheeler or maybe like a little helicopter or something, and maybe the weapons to hunt Bigfoot, and be kind of like a group experience, just trying to track him down, find him, and be a standalone game, meta quest. Just a side project, probably work on it a couple hours a day, maybe. I still got to work on Glider Sim, keep adding features to that, but I thought it'd be interesting to explore this free to play market on the Quest and just see what might happen. And probably take me a couple weeks, a month or two, maybe, to get a free to play version up. Probably do a lot of vibe coding with the AI, try to quickly put together something, try to get it up on the store, see if it catches or not. If not, just kind of fall back to Glider Sim, keep plugging away on that. But if there's something there with a big market, with all these kids on the MetaQuest, a new headset coming out next year, be nice to have a little more income coming from something besides Glider Sim. So thought it'd be worth experimenting on a project like this. But yeah, I could take the kind of the code I have here, um, with what I have in Glider Sim, just kind of throw it into a new game. Maybe instead of flying around, a first person controller and so forth, and kind of just go from there. So I'm going to get started here and look forward to plugging away here. Okay, so I downloaded this character controller. Um, I bought it and it's pretty cool. Like it's already got a weapon system and everything. Um, the bow is pretty cool. Might be able to use this. It It's kind of overkill though. If I look at this, it's got a lot of audio, multiple cameras, just a lot going on. It might be too much for what I'm trying to accomplish. So I'm gonna try using the Unity default character controller, perhaps. I might end up using some of the assets, such as the guns and the bow and arrow and stuff. But let me go ahead and start with something more simple, I think. Although this is pretty cool. Okay, so I went ahead and downloaded the third-person controller free asset off from the Unity asset store. And this one seems pretty simple. It's just got one audio player. It looks like a simple capsule controller. Be able to walk around. Let's see, can he sprint? Yeah, he can sprint by pressing shift. It's kind of weird how the default scene doesn't have the camera attached to the character, so let me go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, I'm just gonna take the main camera and place it on the player. And let's see, let's just go 0. Let's see, move it up. I think eventually we're gonna want them first person, but let's just try this real quick. Maybe we'll like angle it down. Oh. All right, let me try that. See if it follows the character now. Whoa. Okay. I wish you would turn with the mouse, but nonetheless, it seems to be working. Looking at this player has a player input, which then references the starter asset input actions, and then it's picked up by this main player input controller. I don't like the way this is set up. I want to get rid of this player input. It's just not intuitive to me, the way this is just calling on the move and then getting the move vectors from that. It's going to be hard to hook up with the VR controllers as well. So I just want like a simple input where you could say input move forward back, input move left right, input rotate left right. So I am going to try to rewrite this really quick, maybe run it through Claude. Okay, I rewrote the script, or Claude rewrote the script to just use my custom input actions so we can easily assign them. It's no longer using the player input, so we could just remove it. Oh. Well, I disabled it, so I know it's working without it, but I'm going to have to now update the third-person controller to not use it at all. Okay, so we should be able to remove it now. Alright, cool. So, got rid of that annoying player input way of doing things. And we could easily edit our input actions. So, right now he's still turning when I press A and D, but I want him to turn with the mouse. So we'll have the AI edit the code real quick. Let's see. Okay, so um, Claude updated our code for Fable, and we now have some smooth turning with the mouse, and it seems to be working pretty nice. One thing I noticed is A and D, the strife animations moving left and right, he's walking forward, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that at some point. This character controller doesn't have any strifing animations. We might just turn it off, or we're gonna get a new character in here, a new character model that has more animations. Also gonna have to figure out how to look up and down. I'm not sure if that's gonna be a priority in VR. I'm gonna have to test it. So next step is probably making this a first person so the camera is level with his head. We could probably test that right now if I just pause it, go to main camera, and go like that. So it should be right over his head now. On pause. Yeah, of course we got some weird clipping, but nothing we can't fix. But we got a first person character controller semi working here to start with. Okay, so after taking some time and thinking about this after a long break, I'm thinking it might be too much to deal with all the animations of the character controller, as in the mesh here, because we have to have all kinds of animations for, yeah, striping left and right, moving left and right, and eventually, if we're gonna have weapons or throwing things. So I think I'm just gonna go super simple, and just for now, have our guy just be a capsule, and this circle will represent his head, and then we'll put some basic geometry in for the hand controllers of the VR. And I went ahead and plopped in an XR Origin controller and got that all working with the camera offset of the head being set correctly, and all the XR controllers, so you can move around with the XR controllers now. So if I put on the headset and test this out, we can see this working, hopefully. Okay, yeah. There we go. So you can see my controller position here. Hello, my head position, and I'm basically just gonna walk around like this. It'll do for now, I think. It just makes things a lot easier. And again, we're not trying to make such a complicated game here. We're just trying to get something working and out. So not having to deal with all the animations of a complex character will help quite a bit. But nonetheless, I can sprint by pressing the trigger. All the joysticks work, so I can run around, jump, and yeah. So that's where I'm about out right now. It's probably the end of the session for today. So it's pretty good. We got our VR hooked up, our character controller hooked up. We're gonna have to think about how we're gonna do multiplayer. The hands are gonna have to be because we want the hand and head interaction to work in the game. Maybe figure out tilting up and down. But for the most part, we're at a good stopping point. We'll continue on the next episode.